Welcome to a global overview of the state of the world. Today we analyze power, empires, states, corporations, and fiefdoms. I'm Jayla, and we are about to explore the structures that dominate our reality. We are facing the great dilemma. Is it power that should serve and protect the people, or is it the people who should serve and protect power? A question that has defined our history and will mark our future. The empire is the most relevant power structure that has ever existed. Throughout the centuries, peoples and cultures have spread, conquering and expanding their military and economic influence over territory. Technically, an empire is the unequal relationship between a central state and its periphery. Formal control or informal influence. Sometimes, economic pressure is enough to manipulate entire governments through persuasion. From the Roman and Chinese empires to the Spanish and British ones, they have all left an indelible mark. Alexander the Great, Persia, Byzantium, and the Russian Empire are all part of this eternal cycle of power. Empires are born, grow, consolidate, and finally fall into a chronic decline until they die. It is a historical constant, often driven by the excessive ego of charismatic and visionary leaders. Everything begins with prosperity. Warriors invade merchants, adopt their manners, and strengthen their social organization, using the acquired wealth to expand their conquests and create an empire. But wealth has a price. Armies grow, costs rise faster than revenues, and the whole thing collapses under internal or external pressure when spending becomes unsustainable. The excuse is always security and development, but the reality is that expansion usually responds to the ego of the rulers, supported by elites who become the new managers of power. Over time, the ego of the new elites challenges the central power. States are born when resources are dedicated to promoting the power of the leader of the moment, king, president, or any form of autocratic command. This structure is repeated at lower levels, creating public and private fiefdoms where people are just resources to secure the ego of the ruler of the moment. It is a cycle of modern servitude. Tell me, do you really know how power structures work at a global, regional, and local level? Or do you let yourself be carried away by what the media and general sentiment say? Reflect on that. Many assume the state of a servant, losing freedom in exchange for a supposed security guaranteed by the ruler. Freedom requires responsibility, and power always generates dependency. We live in a less predictable, impulsive, and chaotic world, marked by rivalries between global and regional powers fighting for supremacy on this new multipolar board. Large corporations are the new heavyweights of geopolitics. They have more influence on relations between nations than many sovereign states, dictating their own global rules. The population's level of knowledge about power structures is, in general, quite low. But remember, the difference between decay and prosperity depends on seemingly small decisions. Small decisions produce historical changes. In a world of uncertainty, every choice counts to break the cycle of dependency that power tries to impose upon us. Population growth and the impact of wars define our relationships. Elites fuel permanent conflicts between territories and nations to ensure their own relevance. Geopolitical speculation on resources and the rise of authoritarian governments are global realities. Elected leaders often turn into autocrats in the face of general passivity. Traditional democracies have lost legitimacy. International institutions lack real and effective authority, while political parties infiltrate the powers of the state. We are moving from a unipolar world to one that is much more multipolar than ever before. It is a key trend that will define the coming years and the survival of sovereign nations. Tell me something. Can human freedom survive when elites promote absolute power while artificial intelligence and predictive systems are capable of governing with greater efficiency than human beings themselves? Do you have the attitude, the preparation, and the experience necessary to face your future with guarantees of success? Wake up. Direction, NSI. Author, Bakari. Copyright 2026. This is the end of our broadcast. Thank you for joining us in this analysis of global power. Remember, knowledge is your only defense. Wake up 2055. All rights reserved.